So what do you need besides a miracle?
Reboots. Lots of reboots. The Matrix Resurrections, released in 2021 and is directed by Lana Wachowski, who has also directed such films like Bound, Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, Jupiter Ascending, The Matrix, and the two Matrix sequels that didn't live up to the hype of the first one. And this film is starring Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Jessica Hennick, Jonathan Groff, and Neil Patrick Harris. Keanu Reeves plays Thomas Anderson, who is a famous game designer, most famously known for his popular video game, The Matrix. And his parent company, Warner Brothers, have decided to reinvest into the Matrix video game saga, and is ordering Mr. Anderson to create another trilogy. But while developing this new chapter of his video game, he starts experiencing episodes of past traumas that he felt while creating the original Matrix video game, and is fighting off suicidal tendencies. However, he is visited by a ship captain named Bugs, who is trying to convince him that the Matrix from before is not just a video game, it was Mr. Anderson's actual life. So now Mr. Anderson has to decide whether his life that he is living right now is the real world, or if the Matrix video game that he created many years ago was his actual life where he was known as Neo. And it's the fourth installment of this very famous trilogy, so I mean, in order to have, like, nice action set pieces and fun little action storylines and conflict, I'll give you the choice between the red pill or the blue pill for you to decide which pill he takes. So here we are. We had heard rumors for many years of there being an idea for a fourth Matrix film, and after the last two Matrix sequels to the original one that is definitely a masterpiece, I actually rewatched it a couple of weeks ago, and that thing still holds up. But we can all agree that the sequels, whether you like them or you hate them, even if you did like them, they still did not meet the same magic and wonder and splendor that the original created. But we had always hoped that maybe there would be a fourth Matrix movie, because at the end of Revolution, you know, things kind of seemed up in the air as to what would happen. Oh, there's peace, and Neo's body is with the machines. Maybe they could do something with it. Small little spoiler alert, they do something with it. And what sucks about a movie like this, when it's so long after the original films came out, trying to recapture the greatness that the original trilogy had, the fear is that it's just not going to live up to the hype, or you're just kind of going to be sitting there thinking, why did we even bother with doing this? We just hope that it's not like, hey, they didn't give us anything new, they're just kind of trudging through, trying to recapture the original splendor that the original movie gave us. And to be honest, there are moments in this movie where it's definitely that, where they are retrudging and they're just like, hey, you remember this awesome thing from the first movie? Or hell, remember this thing from the sequels? Well, here it is again. Isn't this cool? But I will say, for the most part, I really enjoyed this film, and I like the stance of it taking a more personal route, as opposed to making it like this convoluted mess that the sequels were. I feel that we don't really get caught up in this whole war and battle between machines and human beings, and actually that whole debate is kind of out the window here, because there are machines who have actually teamed up with the humans. And there's a great line in this movie where they say, what you did, Neo, when you went to the Machine City many years ago is that you kind of redefined the term of us versus them, because now the word us has a whole other meaning now. So the film really doesn't dive into that whole convoluted aspect of machines versus humans. This stays really on a personal level with Neo, Mr. Anderson. I guess I'm kind of spoiling it a little bit now that I'm calling him Neo, and I'm kind of going through what the action is in this film. I mean, hell, it's in the trailer. You know what's going to happen. But I like how personal they make the story of him coming to grips with his mental health, coming to grips with what is reality, which is what the first Matrix was so famous for. What is reality? What is the concept of reality? What does this actually even mean? And we're also diving more into his love for Trinity. So really, I enjoy those aspects when we're focusing on the personal side of this whole Matrix convoluted lore. It's when we get to stuff like with the actual Matrix and the whole action that happens in there, the whole action kind of feels hollow to me. They're telling me that there are stakes involved with what's going on, but I'm not feeling any of the stakes that is involved. I'm not getting the sense that The Matrix is that big of a deal as it was 20 years ago. Back in the early 2000s, when we were getting the sequels to the original Matrix, the whole mindset was to deplete the Matrix and awaken everyone's minds so we can take back the planet. Here, though, the whole Matrix thing, the idea, it's like, who really cares? For us humans who are just unplugged or we're surviving outside of the Matrix right now, let's just create the world again. And if you want to be in the Matrix, then you're in the Matrix, fine. So really that's my big overall thought to this, is that it's telling me that there are a lot of things that are important and there are a lot of stakes in this movie, but I'm not feeling anything. And hell, sometimes it's even hard to relate and to connect to Mr. Anderson and to Neo, especially when he gets unplugged and he's refiguring everything else out, because he's definitely not the same. He's older, he doesn't have the same powers as he has before. But when we do get like those therapy sessions or those moments where he's just questioning, who he is again, those are the moments that I really like about Neo. Those are the moments that I liked from the original trilogy, and I like that they continue it here with this film. You can definitely tell that they're trying to set up another trilogy in this whole franchise, and I'll be honest, after watching this movie, I would like to see more chapters in this whole saga. Now, if we don't get any, would I be upset? Absolutely not. But I will say this is the most enjoyable sequel in the whole Matrix franchise, and it's really cool seeing Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves reprise their role that really one of the roles that put them both on the map in this world, and seeing a lot of the new innovations. Now, the tech guys who are operating the ship, they can actually get into the Matrix too, and they can project themselves, which makes sense to me, seeing how we have so many online games where people can just interject themselves into the whole digital world there. But they're also trying to get us to care about these brand new characters, like Bugs, the captain of this new ship, played by Jessica Henwick. She is really trying to be cool and really trying to be serious. You want to know why? Because usually she speaks up here, her tone of voice is up here, but she speaks in vocal fry, and that makes everything seem cool and serious, and I'm being so super serious right now. I'm actually destroying my voice just doing that. I can only imagine what she did to her voice throughout this entire movie. She was kind of annoying, I'll be honest. But overall, I do think that this is a fine entry into the Matrix saga. I would like to see it continue, and I'd like to see more chapters. If you don't watch this movie, though, I mean, you're not missing much. There's a lot of nostalgia that is in place here, and if you're not really into the personal side of these characters in the Matrix and you want bullet time and you want a whole bunch of action sequences, you're not going to get a lot in here, and what we get, it feels a little hollow. It doesn't live up to the hype that the original Matrix had. I'm going to give The Matrix Resurrection 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos, where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, and the next one comes as a PayPal recommendation from two of my biggest subscribers on this channel and supporters on this channel, Mr. and Mrs. Rusted Beetle. You sent in a bunch of recommendations at the end of last year, but wanted to do this whole Spider-Man series and kind of put everything aside, so now I'm trying to get to everyone as quickly and as fast as possible, and we're starting off with a recommendation of yours called Kung Fu Hustle, a ridiculous kung fu movie I've only seen once before, actually, and I remember enjoying it. Definitely haven't checked it out in many years, though, so we'll check it out next time. So guys, if you've seen The Matrix Resurrection, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Kung Fu Hustle. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.